What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great weekend. It is a great weekend if you're a bodybuilding fan. I'm going to be going over this year's 2024 Mr. Olympia Open, 212, Classic Physique, and Men's Physique categories. So we're going to start off here with some Classic. We're going to go over the top four. Here's some call-outs for you. This is a front double bicep for Classic, and you can kind of see the shape of these guys. And I'm going to show some other pictures where it's the top three. And you can they're a little bit better pictures. But yeah, this was a really exciting year. There was a lot of, I don't want to say upsets. I just want to say surprising placings that we didn't expect. Because I think some of these guys like Urs, like Mike Sommerfeld here, they look so good that you can't really argue. It's not really, I'm not upset about it, But the biggest, craziest one to me was Wesley Vissers, which I'll go over here in a second. But I want to point out here, Urs, his improvements on his upper body, he's mentioned them before. And last year, I thought his upper body was going to be looking better. It's just when he stands next to some of these guys, it's like, dang, the clavicle width on him is just not as wide as like a Mike Sommerfeld, for example. You see him, he's wide as a freaking house. And he's got the size. His legs are maybe better than Chris from the front. And just that taper to his waist is absolutely nuts because of the length of his clavicles. But to no one's surprise, we had Chris Bumstead come out on top. Took home the gold this year. And I'm going to go over our, I believe, top 7 or 8 places here. We got Chris Bumstead in first. Second, Mike Sommerfeld. Third, Urs Kalasinski. Fourth, Ramon Dino. Fifth, Breon Ainsley. Sixth, Jose. 7, Michael DeBoule. And 8th, Wesley Vissers. I thought Wesley was going to be in the top 2. I really did. I want to give a special congratulations to Chris and a thank you to Chris Bumstead. He has really changed the sport. He's inspired a lot of people. He made bodybuilding exciting to watch again. And I really hope he enjoys his retirement. He's earned it. Next up, we're going to be going over Men's Physique. We had Ryan Terry and some of these other guys. I'm not really familiar with Men's Physique, but I wanted to give you some quick coverage of it. I think they have weight categories now, whereas they didn't used to. And so there is, more of a difference between them and Classic Physique. Ryan Terry took it home again this time. And I think what he's able to do is just come in with that crazy, crazy conditioning. And his shape and everything is, you can tell just up there on that stage next to those guys. I think he's just the most chiseled out of all of them. And I think all the classes, except for Classic Physique, really seem to be trying to pick who they want their, champions to be. So Ryan Terry in first, Ali in second, Aaron Banks in third, Emmanuel Hunter in fourth, and Edvin. I'm not going to pronounce that correctly, but those are your top 5 for Men's Physique. And you know what? They look great. Everybody on the stage, all the top 10s, all the top 5s look amazing this year. 212. And honestly, these are becoming my favorite guys to watch. Just look at Keon Pearson here and Sean Clarita, just the shape that they bring. It is absolutely crazy. I think at the heights that they're at, down there, I think it's like 5'7" for Keon Pearson. Just the ability to bring in the legs with the weight caps that they have. And I think Keon has a few pounds he can still gain and still be within his weight class. Sean Clarita here, he is the most shredded person that anyone has probably ever seen. Definitely on the entirety of the Olympia stage, he's the leanest person up there. I just think when it comes to Keon, the shape and the size kind of overwhelms him. And this shot here is kind of a good example. Sean Clarita, he's just got that little smaller frame, Similar to how I was saying with Urs, the clavicles just aren't as long. But it's just his frame is so small. He's got it completely maxed out. And Keon, he just came in with extra conditioning. This shot here, this abs and thigh, oh my gosh, that side crunching pose for Keon really shows that conditioning that he brought that I don't think we've seen from him yet. Just made him, in my opinion, solidified him as the champion. He got first. Sean came in second again. But, man, that was a good battle. And I really want to give props to Keon here. I think he's solidifying himself. He's going to be kind of a dynasty bodybuilder, in my opinion. He's one of those guys where he could win, in my opinion, any category. Maybe classic physique, the weight restrictions are a little bit too much for him to be able to bring the shape. But with this 212 stage, he's one of those guys like Derek who could come and show up and win the open class. And in my opinion, he's one of the best bodybuilders in the world right now. He's probably my favorite. Keon Pearson in first, Sean Clarita in second, Angel Calderon in third, Kareth Bajo in fourth, and Vitor Alves Porto de Oliveira. Oliveira? I'm bad at these names, guys. I'm sorry. Now we're going to move on to the big show. The money show, really. I mean, these guys kill it compared to everybody else. We have the side chest here. One thing that I noticed immediately after looking at classic, men's physique, and 212 is the conditioning here. The standard is just not there with these guys. I know, Hadi Chupon, he's got crazy conditioning from the front. I have to put that little exclaimer there. But there's just a difference in the conditioning. I mean, they're really trying to bring the size, and I think they're afraid to show up flat, so they would rather spill over a little bit. But I think some of these guys, like Derek Lunsford, for example, I believe he would have placed higher if he was a bit more shredded. You see here from this most muscular here, to compete with these guys, Derek would have to just be more shredded, because he barely has those chest striations coming out, which is shocking, honestly. I really also want to point out Martin Fitzwater. Here's a crab from three of these guys. And Derek just kind of, it's like he just missed the mark a little bit just with conditioning. I think his size was better this year, but his upper body kind of outdid his lower body this year. And so I think he could work on that and come in more conditioned next year. But again, Martin Fitzwater came up. He's a newer pro, which is shocking, but we've kind of seen that story more recently. And man, he just looks amazing. Martin Fitzwater, in my opinion, if he can put on not much more size, but just come in a similar shape and just a little bit more conditioned, once he's, holding this muscle for a longer period of time, I really think he could be another, in my opinion, Phil Heath type. Just the shape of his muscle bellies and everything, how round they are. Once he nails all that down, I think he's going to really shine. Obviously, he's placing fourth, and he's a newer pro, which is just crazy. Hadi Chupon, his shape is great, but his waist is just a little blocky compared to these guys. And when he stands next to a Samson Dauda here, Samson actually brought the conditioning this year that he didn't bring last year. I think he could still improve for sure. All these guys could a little bit. Hadi, it's almost like he holds extra fat in his back. But look at Samson's back here. And Samson took the win this year, kind of an upset. But at the same time, that top three has been so close. I don't think anybody's really mad about it. I think it makes me want to watch next year even more. So congratulations to Samson Dauda. I think everybody, when you see a guy like that, when you see a guy like Andrew Jacked, these taller, more aesthetic frames and shapes to their bodies, you kind of hope for them to win, because it brings back a memory of the classic bodybuilding that made everybody fall in love with the sport. So we have first place Samson Dauda, second place Hadi Chupon, third place, knocking down 2 positions from first, Derek Lunsford, Martin Fitzwater in fourth, Andrew Jacked in fifth. I probably should have put him on here. I might have another video about that, but looking great. Hunter Labrada in sixth, William Bonac in seventh, which he looked great this year too. And there is that video of him just jumping on Samson Dauda, congratulating him. What camaraderie between these guys. Raphael Brandau in eighth. I thought he might place higher, to be honest, Raphael, because of the size he's added. Ninth, Brandon Curry. Akeem Williams in 10th. So a really strong, just stacked lineup. Samson Dauda came away with the win. I really want to congratulate him and his wife, who coached him. If you don't know that, I think it's widely known now. But man, that's just a great story. A really family Olympia this year. Have a good one.